Hello friends, this is Flying Radish Studio. As you may know, 栀子音乐 and I recently recorded a song called 落沙银, Song of Falling Sand, and the video is on both of our channels. I mentioned under that video that this song started with just 3 chords on the piano. If you want to hear the story of how we took those 3 chords and developed it into a 4.5-minute song with all the orchestra instruments, that's what I'll be talking about today. I'll show you some clips from the earliest versions of the song and you will get to hear it evolve into its final form. So let's go back to 2019. I was practicing a song called You Alone Can Rescue by Matt Redman on the piano. The chorus of that song was based on a set of 3 repeating chords, D, E, F sharp minor. Well, after a while, I got a little bored with the repetition and wanted to make it more interesting. So I played around with the chord progression of D, E, F sharp minor, and eventually improvised this counter melody to play while everybody was singing the chorus. That was 2019, way before I discovered the world of songwriting. So all I did with that little counter melody was memorize it and play it whenever a worship leader chose to sing that song. Fast forward to 2025. My friend Nan, also known as 栀子音乐, invited me to co-write a song with her. She's already written at least a dozen songs by that time, some of which were based on chord progressions that she heard elsewhere and liked. Within a month, Nan and I had wrapped up Your Smile and written 2 more songs together. While brainstorming for our next song, I recalled the D, E, F sharp minor excerpt from many years ago. Although it lacked a distinct singable melody, I was sure Nan could come up with one. So I recorded it on my tiny MIDI keyboard and emailed it to her. Now, even though I was not an experienced songwriter, I knew this song needed more than 3 chords. I decided those repeating chords would be the chorus, whereas the verse would have the following chords. After I sent those 3 piano samples to Nan, she replied that the musical style reminded her of xianxia imagery. Xianxia are heroic figures in Chinese folklore who lead mysterious lives in the deep mountains or in the howling desert. Nan asked if I wanted her to write lyrics related to Xianxia mythology. She sent me the theme song of a historical fantasy TV show as an example, and I was on board. So she got to work and sent me a set of lyrics with a recording of her singing them.
打开记忆里的枷锁，呼唤着英雄的魂魄。岁月无声，山河辽阔。曾经和你相约在天边，如今孤独如旧。情未眠，当月光再次爬满空窗，白发头长，只为等一场。
Because our song opened with a description of wind blowing in the desert, we decided to name it Song of Falling Sand. Nan wrote additional lyrics based on this imagery, which became the second and third choruses. I edited those lyrics to sound less introspective and more majestic. Clearly, though, the piano part was anything but majestic, so I gave myself an assignment: build an orchestra. First step was to open up GarageBand on my MacBook Air and connect it to my teeny tiny 25-key MIDI controller. At the top center of my GarageBand window, you will see that I have the tempo set to 74 beats per minute, the time signature 4/4, and the key C minor. I picked those parameters based on what worked and what did not work in the demo recordings. Below that, the green track is the piano demo that I recorded previously. That was before, and this is after. This was what my GarageBand window looked like with my recording project finished. You can see on the left panel that I've expanded from 1 instrument to 10, or you could say 15 if you count the strings and percussion instruments separately. All these green blocks are MIDI tracks, which are digitized musical notes that I typed in with my MIDI controller or with my computer mouse. Because I have so many tracks layered together, the computer would play them back simultaneously, which makes them sound like an orchestra. But you've already heard them playing together because you've listened to the finished song. What I'm going to do now is have each instrument play one segment of the MIDI track for you so you can hear what they sound like individually. If you want to know my step-by-step process for writing the instrumental parts and layering them together, I will be making a detailed video about that, so stay tuned. Once I finished putting together all of the instruments, I exported that as an instrumental track MP3 and sent it to Nan so she could record the final vocal track, which you see in blue. Now that we had all the instrumental parts and the vocal part, the final step in GarageBand was to do some audio mixing, which meant making sure the vocals and all the instrumental parts sounded balanced. So I did some volume automation and equalizer adjustments. If you don't know what that means, look out for the next detailed instrumentation video where I will explain.
为何总如恶不化，像孤雁注定漂泊。
Finally, I exported the audio track to iMovie to make the lyric video and uploaded the video to YouTube for you to watch. And that was the story of how Nan and I took 3 chords, turned it into a piano sample, and eventually into a full song with orchestration. Again, if you're interested in knowing how I built all the instrumental parts, stay tuned for my detailed video. Thanks for watching!